Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Despite the violent reputation that Montego Bay has developed over recent years, Sundays are usually considered safe and peaceful, with most residents spending the day between going to church, having a quiet day at home, or going off to watch Premier League football in the afternoons. With most of the business places closed on a Sunday, some sections of downtown Montego Bay are usually like a ghost town, quiet and peaceful, minus the normal hustle and bustle one would see between Monday and Saturday. However, within recent times, there has been a culture shift with the influx of a new group of Chinese business operators who operate all week around, ignore the traditional sanctity of Sundays. With the quietness of downtown Montego Bay and the modus operandi of these new Chinese business operators, they have seemingly created a platform for brazen robbers, who staged a number of brazen robberies, especially in 2019. The brazen robberies not only frightened the Montego Bay business community and tourism interests, but it brought a new level of lawlessness that had not previously been seen in the western city. In addition to the many multi-million-dollar heists, there were many instances when security personnel were killed in these robberies. The situation got so bad that the then St. James Police Commander, Superintendent Vernal Ellis, was forced to create a special motorcycle quick response team to respond to these robberies. In this edition of Lest You Forget, I will be looking at two robberies. One in which the robbers murdered a security guard and a courier and made off with millions of dollars, and another in which the mastermind between the robbers and several of his cronies were killed in a confrontation with the police. The first story, which was published on Monday, March 11, 2019, under the headline, Murder Mayhem in MoBay's, courier guard slain in multi-million-dollar heist as 5 killed in St. James capital. The story read in parts as follows. Yesterday in downtown Montego Bay, the driver of a courier vehicle and a security guard were killed when heavily armed gunmen staged a daring daylight robbery during which they stole an undetermined sum of money believed to be between $10 and $20 million. The driver, who was transporting the cash as part of a routine Sunday morning pickup of cash from supermarkets, was identified as 48-year-old Floyd Tony Wilson of Rosemount Gardens, also in Montego Bay. The security guard, who was part of a two-man team from Hawkeye providing escort service, was identified as Canute Earl of Norwood, who is believed to be in his early 50s. According to reports, about 8 a.m., the courier vehicle was traveling along Jared Street with the Hawkeye response unit in tow. They were reportedly intercepted by two white motor cars with several men on board. One of the cars blocked the path of the courier vehicle while the other barricaded the Hawkeye team. Eyewitnesses said 4 men alighted from the two vehicles with rifles and opened fire on both the courier and Hawkeye vehicles simultaneously. During the barrage of gunfire, Wilson and Earl were killed and another security guard seriously injured. During the attack, the robbers seized the money and sped. Once the shot them start fire, everybody have to run for cover, said a bystander. You could hear the car glass them mash up and people run and scream. Other cars along the road also got shot up because enough shot them on them fire. In the second story, in which the robbers were not so lucky, we will be revisiting that story from a story that was published on May 13, 2020 under the headline Robber Mastermind Crony Killed in MoBay Gunfight. The story read as follows. The alleged mastermind behind a spate of robberies across western Jamaica was killed after he and his cronies reportedly engaged the security forces in a blazing gun battle after yet another multi-million-dollar heist in Montego Bay yesterday. Deceased men were identified as 47-year-old Melville Otti, who resides between Mount Salem and Grinion Land in Greenpond, St. James, and an unidentified man. Otti is believed to be the mastermind behind the robberies. Reports are that shortly after noon, a team of officers responded to a radar message that armed men had carried out a multi-million-dollar heist in the vicinity of Westgate Hills, robbing a Chinese national of $8 million. The businessman was also robbed of $12 million in Reading, St. James last year. The police, who were subsequently joined by soldiers, rushed to Grinion Land, which is located on the Greenpond Cornwall Courts border, where further intelligence led them to a two-floor house that was being constructed by Otti. The lawmen surrounded the house and allegedly came under fire in a gunfight that lasted more than 10 minutes. When the shooting subsided, Otti and the unidentified man were found inside the house with multiple gunshot wounds. They were taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where they were pronounced dead. Otti has been under the police's radar for some time, a law enforcement source told the Gleaner, especially in relation to the targeting of the Chinese business community. We have been on the trail of these men for some time now, especially Otti, who is fingered in a number of armed robberies, which included the recent robbery and murder of businessman Kenny Lai, who was murdered in downtown Montego Bay earlier this year, the lawman said. We believe he was behind major armed robberies in Trelawney, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and here in St. James. However, Otti's family, including his father, Lloyd Otti, is claiming that he was murdered by the soldiers who surrounded the house and ordered him outside, then opening fire on him. My son called me on the telephone and I start walk to go down there, but the soldier them run me back and say, me fi go on my yard, said the elderly Otti. While Melville Otti never faced the justice system via the courts, since his demise, there has been a noticeable reduction in the attack against members of the Chinese community, especially those daring Sunday morning robberies. Nonetheless, these violent episodes were undoubtedly unforgettable stories out of Montego Bay. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.